Imagine being one of only 3 people out of 30,000 to survive a volcanic eruption, but you only survived because you were locked up in a dungeon. Well, you don't just have to imagine it, because that's exactly what happened to this man during the 1902 eruption of Mount Pelée. This is Louis Auguste Sipari, and he lived in Saint Pierre, Martinique, which prior to the eruption had been described as the Paris of the West Indies and the sensation of some happy dream. But on May 8th, 1902, that happy dream would turn into a hellish nightmare of ash and fire. That morning, around 8 a.m., Mount Pelée, which had been producing smaller eruptions for just over 2 weeks, exploded and sent a large, dense cloud of hot ash, gas, and rock known as a pyroclastic surge down the side of the volcano and straight into the city of Saint Pierre. The almost 2,000-degree Fahrenheit surge struck the city with the force of a hurricane at a speed of over 100 miles per hour, obliterating everything in its path. For example, a 3-ton statue was blasted almost 50 feet off its mount, and 3-foot-thick masonry walls were reduced to nothing but rubble. The searing hot cloud even traveled over the water in the harbor, setting ships ablaze. And within minutes, all but 3 of the 30,000 people occupying the city were dead. As you know, one of those survivors was Louis Auguste Sipari, who had been imprisoned since early April for injuring one of his friends with a cutlass during a fight. At the time of the eruption, he was in solitary confinement in a cell with just one small opening above the door, which is ultimately what saved his life. Louis Auguste was still severely burned by hot air and ash that made it into the room and had to wait 4 days to be rescued, but received a pardon for his crimes after the ordeal and ended up touring the world with the Barnum and Bailey Circus.